Hey, this is David Owen.
And this is Marion Cowagoan.
And this is You Show Me Yours Rewatches Degrassi Junior High. This time we are on season 1, episode 12, Parents' Night.
Parents, plural possessive.
Yes. Parents' Night. Bit of a tease though. We don't get Parents' Night. We
No,
get the
we
build up.
don't. I believe last week I told you we saw the band The Zit Remedy. We don't see the Zit Remedy because they're not called the Zit Remedy yet.
Proto Zit Remedy.
Yes. And they toss around a number of other possible names. And the joke is Joey and Snake each want to be the front man. My favorite of the names that they talk about is Snake and the Charmers. Yeah. That's actually pretty great.
That's a good one. So this one is we are of course still reeling from the fallout of It's Late. Shane and Spike, along with the twins, are pursuing that storyline while we interweave our sort of A plot with Wheels, who I believe we've known is adopted.
Yeah, I don't know if we did know that. I mean, we met his dad.
I think we knew. I want to say we knew, but I can't remember.
I don't know if we did. But anyway, if we didn't know, we know now.
Yes, and he is going through some stuff, and Spike is
going through different
stuff, and she's asking him if he, what it's like to be adopted, and he's going through the tribulations of being adopted, and let's talk about it.
Yeah. Well, not so much the tribulations of being adopted, the tribulations of your biological parents coming back in your life.
Yeah.
And being cool when your adoptive parents are not cool, as most parents are not. Like, I don't know. I don't think that a 13, 14-year-old watching this is going to get it, but the parenting is not cool. The hard work of parenting is you got to look like a dork sometimes. And the people who, change your diaper and take you for shots and buy you shoes and check on your grades and, they are not going to look like the cool people ever.
Yeah.
Wheels has a very quick, so backtrack to the opening scenes. Somebody's calling his house.
Yes.
Somebody who
yellow gloves.
We only see, in a phone book wearing gloves to dial, and Wheels picks up and the person doesn't say anything. And he hangs on for a while.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi.
Yes. Hello. Finally, they didn't say anything. They just hung up. And Wheels' mom says, I had one of those calls the other day.
This is right in the middle of Wheels' birthday.
Is that what it was?
Shindig. Yeah. There's a cake and the card, and they talk about it. They talk, like, he literally says, my mom made me a cake for my birthday.
Okay, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I was sniffling too much.
Yes.
So then the next day at school, some guy with the same gloves, so we know who it is, or we know it's the same person, is sitting in a truck outside watching the kids as they walk in. And Wheels sees him and it's gives him the side eye. And Snake, because now Snake is besties with Wheels and Joey. I feel like we didn't see them together ever before this, but now they're the three. But okay, that's fine. It happens sometimes. Snake says, that guy in the truck, he was kind of staring at you. Might be a pervert.
Yeah, probably pervert.
And I was just like, wow, we jumped right into that. Okay.
I was thrust back into the days of the 80s when all us young boys had to worry about perverts.
Did you?
Watching us.
Really?
No, or so we were told. We are like the Gen X / elder millennial kids.
Yeah.
We are like the snatched kids. Like, we are the ones that were like, hey, he's going to say he's got a puppy or he's got candy and don't get in his van. We are the result of apparently a generation of children that were constantly being snatched by perverts
with puppies and lollipops. Well,
so by the time we were kids, they had learned it in the 80s. They had learned the MO of these snatchers.
Yeah.
And they were like, they're going to try to trick you. They're going to have a van. They're going to say they know your mother.
Is that why the elder generation, did they also people were forcing them to take drugs, and that's why they told us they'll force you to take drugs. Don't do it.
The boomers were all forced to take the pot
at knife point.
Yeah.
Well,
you better take this marijuana, boy. I don't wanna.
I'm from 1920.
Right. I came here from the 1920s to force you to take marijuana.
I brought my reefer. See,
Right. Reefer madness.
Not to prolong this, but I feel I was the kid who always said, "What are you talking about?" with these vague warnings they would give us.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean a pervert? What is a pervert? What does a pervert do? Why am I supposed to? Why should I not talk to strangers?
Right.
And the officer, what was his name? Officer McCabe at Dare was like, well, they might do things. What things?
Yeah, you're just like, be specific.
No, I want to know. Like, I have questions. You cannot get away with this nonsense here. And it was like, you should ask your parents. And I was like, but you're here. Yeah. Like, what?
What do they do? Bathing suit area things? What is it?
Are we talking No Square? Right. Are we talking like off tangent? You know that I love a good patron saint.
Oh yeah.
Story. The patron saint of, I'm not sure what she is the patron saint of, but of virginity, I guess, in Catholicism is a young girl named Saint Maria Goretti, who was, I don't know, it was like early 20th century, lived in Italy, and she was very pretty and a devout, good girl, as a lot of 12-year-olds are. And the neighbor kid thought she was pretty also and grabbed her and wanted to, and what it said in my Lives of the Saints book is he wanted her to do wrong.
Ooh.
And she wouldn't, and he stabbed her, and she eventually died of her wounds and forgave him on her deathbed. And the story gets twisted to tell young girls she died protecting her virginity and you should too, which is not really it. It's like she forgave her would-be rapist and you should, but I'm reading this at age 7 because I got a Lives of the Saints book for my first communion. And I'm like, he wanted her to do wrong. Do you mean like she stole cookies out of the cookie jar?
Eat cookies between meals?
What? Like she was looking at name brand food? I was so confused. Yeah. So like I'm
paying full price for using cake mix?
You eating white bread?
Right.
I don't understand.
Toasting waffles in the
yes. Making things not from scratch. So yeah, I'm so over these vague things where you think you're imparting a lesson and the kids are like, I don't. What? Yeah. But anyway, maybe they did it differently in Canada because Snake seems to know what a pervert is, and he's like, stay away from that guy.
Yeah, I thought when you said saints, I thought you were going to talk about the patron saint of perverts.
No, I don't think there is. That's Jeffrey Epstein. That's a different kind.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's no. Pope Leo was firmly against perverts.
Yes, so I've heard.
Yeah. That is a road we are not going down, by the way. No, anyway, so Wheels comes back out and the guy is there and he sort of stops. And I was like, Wheels, run. Like you were told to stay away from this guy. Stop it, And then the guy's like, I am your father. The 80s language around adoption here is like, because we talk about real father, gave you up for adoption, gave you away, people don't say this very much anymore. So it was so jarring to my ears because I haven't heard that in a long time. But I'm your father. And here I have your birth necklace, which I didn't think was a thing. Birth necklace? Was that?
Is this guy from New York?
I don't know. Well, we don't know where he's from.
Here's your birth necklace.
He's a drifter.
Yeah, have some gravy. I love making you crack up on this podcast with inside jokes that only we understand.
Yeah, I feel like that's not best practice.
Yeah.
I lost.
His name is Mike Nelson.
Yes.
Mike Nelson.
Yes.
Which is I know multiple people with that name.
Well, and also like Spike's last name is Nelson, so like you couldn't think of another name. This is unnecessarily confusing. So is Wheels' dad also Spike's dad?
Maybe.
Yeah. So, and what's the explanation for Wheels' birth mom? They lost touch.
Yeah, she shows a picture of his mom with him right after he was born or whatever.
He looks older. He looks like 6 months.
It was like a glamour shot, but it's like, what do you got? Like, you can't. You got to work with what you can work with. They're on the shoestring budget here.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, she's pretty, huh? Yeah. Oh no, we lost touch. I don't know. I lost touch with her shortly after the inciting incident.
I was really hoping that you could help me find her.
Has she contacted you?
Because I'm feeling a little lonely.
She's got my Genesis record.
Yeah.
Right? With Peter Gabriel on vocals.
What?
Not
Peter Gabriel was in Genesis?
Yes, Peter Gabriel's the original singer of Genesis.
I didn't know this. I knew Phil Collins, but I didn't.
No, like that's
I didn't know
Phil Collins
that.
took over for Peter Gabriel.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, crazy, right?
All right.
I'll play you some Peter Gabriel.
Anyway, so the dad's name is Mike, and he's a drummer in a bar band, and he is also the headliner. It's called Mike and the Wailers, Mike and the Drifters,
something like that. Mike and the Nelsons.
Drifters might be a little bit too on the nose.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think it was the Drifters actually. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things like these bands are like, it's hey, I'm a known guy around the local circuit, so hey, it's me and my band.
Yeah,
but they didn't apparently seem to have a singer. Nobody had a mic, so what kind of bar band?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway, so that they're in town, and hey, would you like to come see us rehearse? Oh, gee, I'm a musician too. Oh, and it's hereditary. They both like chocolate milkshakes, and they're musicians. That's really all you need. You're besties forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I don't know. Wheels oddly goes from being okay with this to all of a sudden. Well, and it's his dad is like, hey, I have tickets to this band that you like. You want to go? But he promised he would go to his adopted dad. But he promised that he would go to Bio Dad's rehearsal, and he's lying, and and then all of a sudden, like, everything is wrong.
He has this moment of, he goes to the rehearsal and ditches his adoptive dad, goes to the rehearsal, and then has this moment of realization of like, oh, I lied to the parents that loved me and cared for me.
Mm-hmm.
In order to, ditched him in order to do this thing with my, bio dad.
Yeah.
And so, this guy's coming in my life, and he's making me lie to my parents who love me. And,
and so, he tells Joey, who's not the person to confide in about this stuff. And Joey's who in the sort of the background of this is forging his parents' signature on his report card and forging a note from his parents to say that they can't come to parents' night because they have the highly communicable disease.
Yes.
So Joey's not the person to talk to if you feel bad about lying to your parents.
No.
And he's like, well, they'll never know. And Wheels is like, but I'll know.
Right. Wheels, a good, honest boy.
Yeah. Yes. So, he gets to the rehearsal, and he all of a sudden it's just like it comes crashing down.
Everything comes crashing down,
and so he leaves, and he gets home, and Mike has called his parents.
Yeah.
And confessed the whole thing, as he should have in the first place. Like, are you kidding me? And Wheels is all feeling conflicted and guilty and everything, and sort of takes it out on his parents and runs to his room, and and they never hash this out. I don't know if
I think that's the thing, right? Like, you don't with your real parents, and by real I mean the ones who are raising you,
the ones who deserve the title.
Yeah. You don't always have to hash everything out. Like, they understand he was upset. That's and they get they get that he's under stress. There's no need to make a big deal out of it.
I don't know. I make a big deal out of everything.
Sure.
But I don't know. But just to clear the air, like, okay, what exactly happened? Why are you upset? Like, what happened that he's not telling us? That kind of thing. But
and so to weave the B plot in here. So prior to this meltdown situation, Spike has approached Wheels because Spike is trying to figure out what to do about this baby, and Wheels was generally positive about the whole thing, kind of just like, I like being adopted. It's hey, you should do. It's
never
cool.
Really thought about my.
Don't care about my.
I don't know what the other parents. I don't know what he calls them, but.
And so he's generally positive on adoption in the first interaction with Spike.
Before he meets the guy
Before
at
he
the
meets,
truck
yeah,
with the
before he meets
Michael yellow glove.
Yes.
And she, I don't know, like they could have overdone this, really. Like, she could have just turned to him and dumped everything on him, and she doesn't exactly, but
Yeah.
she kind of keeps touching in with him.
Yeah.
But she says things like, I'd like to meet it later. It is, because it's like 6 weeks. To tell it why or something like that, which is exactly what Wheels is experiencing right then. But he, it's not what you would expect for the show. He doesn't lose the shit on her.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised at, honestly.
Yeah, he's just like, but I think it's supposed to be, I think, that moment where he's seeing it from the other side, where she says, I would want to meet it later to explain why, and she's like, do you think that's an unreasonable thing to want? And he's like, gives it a hard pause and is like, no, I don't think so. So I think that's supposed to be the moment where he starts to forgive Mike and starts to see things from Mike's perspective, that, Mike was not that much older than Spike is now. And when this happened, and seeing like, yeah, well, it makes sense. Like, he gave me up for a better life, but it makes sense that he would have these unresolved issues, just like Spike here is saying, if she gives her baby up, she would forever have these unresolved issues that she would want to resolve. And, I'm the only one that can give this resolution to Mike.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's supposed to be, it's not played up very big, but it feels to me like the moment where Wheels is supposed to kind of start the healing process, and then that's what plays out for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, it's not as explicit as I would expect on a show for this age group. But also it's a 30-minute show, so we gotta depend on the viewers to keep up. And then he goes to visit Mike again, and previously he had said, "I don't want your stupid necklace," and threw it back. And
this was one of the ways that Mike was proving that he was his real birth parent, that he had the necklace from which I guess would be the equivalent for us Americans of the bracelet, the hospital bracelet.
I'm just surprised, like, necklaces, like, that's choking hazard. I don't, but okay, sure,
And it may be a thing that he never actually wore it. It's like a thing that they give you.
Maybe, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Like the hats they put on all the babies.
Yeah, it's Canada. Things are. Yeah, they put the moose hats on the babies, and the necklaces. they give them a 6 or a 10 bits, and they send them on their way.
The first one that you just get to, because it's soft, so you don't need teeth for it. Yeah. And then he says, "Hey, do you have my necklace?" And takes back and freeze frame.
And they have a little bit of a reconciliation, but in that reconciliation, Wheels is like, "Hey, is it okay if we don't see each other for a while?" And Mike is like, "Yeah, I guess that's fair." Because I think this is one of those things, as with so many of these episodes, it's where everybody is learning that they didn't approach this the best way.
Yeah.
Wheels. Maybe Wheels' parents should have been a little bit more of like, hey, attentive, like, hey, is there going to be a time when you want to meet we support you if you want to meet your parent? And then Mike obviously should have gone through the parents and should have made this more, much more official. And of course, Wheels then could have reacted better to both sets of parents. Everybody learned a lesson.
Yeah. I think Wheels says something like, "I thought you weren't supposed to know where I was."
Yeah.
And Mike's like, "Oh, no, I wasn't." But
yeah, I kind of found out. He says something like that. Like,
basically, he's like, "But I was a creeper." And
well, I don't know. He just says, "I kind of found out." I don't. It's I think intentionally left vague.
Yeah.
Like, he somehow found his found his adoptive parents.
Yeah. I don't know. I have. It's so odd looking back on an adoption storyline from, almost 40 years ago, and to realize that at the time Wheels was born / the time that you and I were born, so many adoptions were probably closed. And there was not this, the kids rarely got to meet their biological parents, and the biological parents were probably told, just don't think about it, move on. But then I hear a lot of stuff now about how the modern thought is acknowledging that adoption is traumatic for the birth parents and the babies, and it is not really the best solution. It's marketed to adoptive parents as the best solution, but that kind of turns kids into this capitalist good that, like, oh, you get. It's like I go to Aldi and I get the things for cheaper. I adopt and I get a baby without being pregnant. Like, it's just it's not exactly how, you know. And I'm very fortunate that I did not ever didn't have to decide anything about that. But it's just interesting to see, like I said, 80s language about adoption, and a thing where this kid probably never thought about meeting his birth parents.
Yeah.
And here the person is. And his adoptive parents seem completely well-meaning and chill about a lot of stuff, and, you know, completely dorky as parents are supposed to be.
Yeah, totally.
But good-hearted, and, you know, probably would have handled this very well if Mike had come to them, or, you know, in a modern open adoption, that kind of thing. But we're not given the opportunity. Meanwhile, Spike and Shane, Shane is being, like, I sympathize, because we were talking about last episode, guys are in sort of a tough situation. Like, you don't really have a choice. You have to be supportive, but you don't know of what. And so I sympathize to a point, but also, like, sounds like he's being sort of demanding, telling Spike what to do. And
well, he's either not communicating at all, or then when they are, he's like, I get a say in this too.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, no, you actually don't. Your job is to say, I support you in whatever you choose, and then support her in whatever she chooses.
Sure. And like we said, the twins are you know, orchestrating in the background. They're the ones who hook Spike up with Wheels. They're like, everybody knows he's adopted. He loves talking about it. Like, what?
But then she says to him, hey, you know I'm pregnant, right? And he's like, yeah. So this clearly is everybody knows everybody's business.
Everybody knows this.
Yes, everybody knows Spike. Trust me.
Yeah, trust me. Yeah. And we don't really have any good solid comedy relief in this episode, other than
except for
two things. We have the band names drama.
What were the other ones?
They're going back and forth.
Joey and the Jelly Beans.
Yeah, that was
Snake and the Sneezes. That's no. As someone personally victimized by sneezes today, no, thank you.
Yeah. And then we get the Zit Remedy, the soon to be Zit Remedy, just horribly performing on stage, and then, you know, cut to them coming out of the gym. Yeah, best practice ever. We sounded so great.
Yeah.
Also during this rehearsal, we get our other piece of comic relief when we have a brief glimpse of Arthur, for some reason, wearing a lady's wig and doing a song and dance number with
Caitlin.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I didn't recognize with the wig.
It was kind of like, it was sort of South Pacific inspired, but I didn't recognize the song. Yeah. And it's, you know, and Ms. Avery is very sweet. She's like, well, we've got some work to do, but that's what rehearsals are for. And then, like, as an indication of how bad the future Zit Remedy is, she, like, her face just, and she kind of puts her head in her hands, and she's like, even Ms. Avery cannot hide how bad they are. And we see, like, Melanie and Kathleen are in the corner putting their hands over their ears, and, you know, but meanwhile the band is just playing and loving it and thinking they're killing it. But
kind of a transitional episode between our big reveal last week. You know, just kind of like, hey, we're just gonna, like, this is a big enough thing that we understand we probably have to dedicate some more time to it. We can't just have Spike be pregnant and then the next week it's just the normal shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like, you know, let's continue to develop the storyline here as we go into the back half of the season or whatever. So it's just a bit of a weird episode. Kind of feels, you know, felt kind of quick. You know, not a lot. There were a couple of announcements I couldn't quite make out. I might go back and listen, and there were a couple of joke announcements.
Some guy is there to talk about scalp hygiene.
Like,
are we having a lice storyline coming up? Maybe. I don't know about that. There was a seed planted. Joey's grades are not great.
Yes.
That's going to come back.
Yes. And yeah, Mr. Radish did bust him. He was like, I was so concerned about your parents and their communicable disease that I called them. And And they were very surprised, and they said they would definitely be at Parents' Night.
Mm-hmm.
And as we said, this whole thing is a tease for Parents' Night that we never even see.
Yeah, and the talent show that we don't see. And Radich wearing a sweater in class. Usually he wears the suit. But he's got this. It's very Huxtable looking. It's sort of a burgundy and blue like print that kind of looks like an amoeba. And and Ms. Avery had her hair in like wild, like several braids. Yeah. And not like the one down the back like she usually has, but like 4 on the side. And so like everyone, you can tell it's that time of the year when people just sort of lose their minds and they're like, I need a break, please. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, so we had our teenager watch with us just for time purposes. Yeah. And Joey and Snake are walking across the screen, and our kid says, what is he wearing? And we thought he was talking about Snake, who was wearing like Bermuda shorts in this crazy orange and yellow print over sweatpants or something. Yeah. And we were like, well, they're shorts. He says, no. The other guy, talking about Joey, who's wearing a beret. A red beret. And a Hawaiian shirt, and then a short sleeve jean jacket
his jean
over
jacket,
it.
The one he got from Rick.
Which I had just sort of forgotten that was an odd outfit because I'm so used to it. But he was like, what is that? That's awful. And funny to get the Gen Z's opinion on things. Yes. But so maybe Snake is going to be a Gen Z fashion icon. Maybe. Next time I pick him up at school, I'll see Bermudas over sweatpants.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, like I said, this is just one of those episodes that kind of just... It feels like it's filling a space. Yeah. I mean, I guess from the terms of character development, it's a big one for Wheels and a continuing character development for Spike. But yeah, it's just, after a heavy episode like It's Late, some people would hit back with a Arthur Yick led episode here where shenanigans are abound, but they decide to give it another episode to sort of drama to sort of permeate everything. And it is good the way it layers in Wheels' adoption with Spike and her seemingly current plan of adoption.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next episode, now you would think that this is sort of a bridge to the climax of the season because the next episode is the last of season 1, but no, it's not. Or not really as far as the Spike situation goes, because the next episode is called Revolution. Ooh. And here's what happens. Oh, we're doing this again. Stephanie attempts to ask Wheels on another date. Oh. But he turns it down, citing his exams. Stephanie becomes resentful and tries to get revenge on him by propositioning Joey with a place as sports representative, which was traditionally grade 7 position on the school paper. I thought sports representative managed the announcements. That's what we were told before.
I don't know.
Okay. Having had enough of Stephanie, the grade 7s stage a protest calling for her impeachment.
Oh.
When Wheels proves to Joey about Stephanie's ulterior motive, he resigns, causing Stephanie to retreat into the bathroom and break down. After school, she offers to walk Arthur home, promising she will change.
Nice.
Sure, I believe that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but we haven't seen Stephanie for a couple episodes, so
that's
true. Bring her back around here.
Yeah,
as a Stephanie-centric episode.
We'll see what she's wearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think I don't think there's anything more to be said about this.
Not really. Yeah.
Yeah, we can wrap her up.
Yeah. Well, folks, we would love to know what you think about this episode. What was your favorite proposed band name, and why? Was it Snake and the Charmers? That's really just...
It's a good band name.
That is. You can let us know in a couple different ways. You can send us an email. It's ysmypodcast. That's ysmy for you show me yours @gmail.com. Or you can find us on Facebook, same handle. You can DM us, or you can find links to all of our latest episodes on our feed. We have, in 2026, we have new episodes every Wednesday. The first Wednesday of the month, we're doing our usual YSMY thing and showing each other movies and television that we loved before the first date. And all the other Wednesdays of the month, we are rewatching Degrassi Junior High. So like we said, next week is Revolution Season 1, Episode 13. We're a third of the way through the series.
Wow.
What? How'd that happen? One at a time. So we will see you next time with Revolution. In the meantime, this has been You Show Me Yours. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, the inside of my nose is hot now.
Cool.
What the hell is going on?